Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to episode 2 of Untitled Town Project. In this episode, I'm going to be working on GUIs for my game in order to get it ready for more stuff to be added in the next few episodes. Well, I mean, just for every episode in the series, but anyways. You also get to watch me lose my sanity with how indecisive I am on designing GUIs and also not being able to do it properly. So enjoy. Before we get started though, I'll map out all the buttons and GUIs I needed to make in this episode. As for the buttons, I needed to make the phone button, wallet button, backpack button, moods button, camera button, and also a sprint button, as well as a button for opening the leaderboard. And all the GUIs I made in this episode, I made the phone GUI, the wallet GUI, moods frame, a leaderboard, of course, and also a menu where you can find things like achievements, jobs, quests, settings, and just about everything else I didn't want to try and fit a button on the screen for. So yeah, as for the backpack GUI, I decided to wait for another episode before I designed that, as that whole backpack and item system is going to take a while to make and really is going to need a whole episode on its own, so stay tuned for that. Also, just keep in mind, not all of these GUIs are going to be fully functional, nor are they going to be even finished really in any way. I just kind of needed a base for when I add more stuff to the game, and these GUIs will probably be changed and improved and whatnot as the series goes on. So anyways, now let's actually get into it. The first design I tried making was sort of a hotbar at the bottom of the screen, and even though I thought this looked fine, I found it too inconsistent and also didn't really feel like it's what I wanted. So I decided to scrap it and go for something else later on. The next design I did was basically what I ended up going with, but it went through a lot of stages before I actually decided to keep it. Firstly, I had all the main icons on the side of the screen, but I decided to put them at the bottom again, and I found a design for them which I liked a lot better than the first one. But of course I'm indecisive and scrapped it again and decided to work on the side GUI, which I decided would have functions like just changing the camera FOV, not FOV, sorry, point of view. Yeah, that's what I meant. And the sprint button. And this is what it looks like as I started to finalize it. Then I started working on another bottom bar that I ended up scrapping. But then after some time, I finally made something that I like. And this is what it looks like. I also started putting an XP bar above it, but I decided to get rid of that eventually because I wanted to put it in a different place, and it also kind of looked out of place to me. Then once I added a separate button for the phone, that was basically it. And it was time for me to start designing the actual GUIs. Well, at least after I scripted the run and camera buttons, since those didn't need separate GUIs, they were just buttons. After a bit of tinkering, I got the button to actually display whenever you were running and walking, which I thought was pretty cool. Later on, I also added an animation for it to, kind of show the cooldown before you could change between walking and running, so that was also pretty nice. Next, it was time for me to start working on the wallet GUI, which this also went through a lot of different phases, because I had sort of an idea in mind, but I couldn't get it exactly how I wanted. Firstly, I had sort of a list thing going on at the bottom that would show you all your different stats and stuff, but I think I made it far too small, and it would just not look good on smaller screens like phones and stuff, so I decided to scrap that. Then I started working on something that looked like more of a real, like, leather wallet kind of vibe, but even though I didn't think this looked awful, it just wasn't really the vibe I was going for. I wanted something, a bit more modern and also something more simplistic, so you didn't have to have an actual whole wallet pop out and, go on your screen. I just wanted it to be a small thing at the bottom that kind of showed you your stats and stuff, so again, I decided to scrap that. Are you starting to see a trend yet? With that out of the way, I started working on another list kind of thing at the bottom right, and this time it looked a bit better once I finally got the icons to, not look like complete garbage in their place. But regardless, I added the basic stats I wanted to show, which was your money in your checking account, savings account money. Yes, there's going to be an actual banking system. Your premium balance of the premium currency, which I haven't actually decided the name of yet, and an icon to view your cards, because I'm going to be making actual card GUIs that show like your license and credit card and driver's license and a VIP card for when I add like a premium VIP game pass in the future. So yeah, stay tuned for that as all, because I didn't make that in this video. Next up, I scripted a way to open and close the GUI, and I also actually added an animation so that it kind of pops out and goes back in, so I thought that actually looked pretty good. That animation will also be used for a lot of the other GUIs too, so I think it looks pretty clean, and I can't complain about it. I also made the wallet functional by making the stats actually update and stuff. The only thing that isn't functional yet is the view cards button, of course. Also, I added another little thing that shows your level, so yeah. And can we get a round of applause? We are now working on another GUI. the moods GUI, the moods frame, whatever. The ones that show your moods, because I'm gonna be adding moods to this game, sort of Sims style, I guess you could say. There's gonna be 4: happiness, hygiene, hunger, and oh shit, what's the 4th one? This always happens. Oh yeah, energy. Since I don't want to make this video too long, for people who are interested in how moods are gonna work, I'll just post an image of what I wrote down on my Trello. So yeah, obviously I couldn't make it functional now, but I'd say later on, whenever I'm working on the backpack and stuff, I will start making the moods functional. So yeah, once I added the rest of the icons, I put it at the bottom right, and then it was time for me to actually make it work with the button. Mostly all I had to do was kind of just copy and paste from the script I used to open and close the wallet, but there were a few things I had to do, which was close all the other GUIs that are open whenever you open one, just so that none of them are like overlapping or anything. I also just had to make sure that when I was copying it that I, replaced everything properly with all the proper stuff, blah blah blah, boring scripting stuff. I mess it up a lot though, because I do not read through my script properly, so I need to start doing that. Anyways, once I finished with that, this is how it looked, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks clean, so yeah, moving on. The next thing I started working on making was the phone, and I will say that despite not being a huge fan of having to make GUIs and stuff, because, I'm not really a great GUI maker or even a builder, I'm mostly the best at coding, but anyways, despite all that, I'd say this is the most fun thing that I've been able to make. And once I actually start making it functional and stuff, I think it's gonna look awesome. I'd say this, along with the operating system that I'm gonna make whenever I start working on computers and stuff, I'd say they're both gonna look pretty awesome, so I'm excited for that. Anyways, I couldn't choose on a background for the testing. Of course, when I actually start working on making the phone functional, I'm gonna make it so you can choose your own background. You can choose your own image to have as your background and stuff, but yeah. I just decided to go with this white geometric background, which I thought looked pretty cool. And I also started working on the top bar, which shows the time and day. It also has some icons for battery and Wi-Fi. Of course, those don't actually mean anything. It's just for decoration, but come on, it makes it feel, more like a phone, of course. Then I started working on app icons, and I'm genuinely quite proud of these because I think they look quite clean. I added a couple of apps that I plan on adding at some point, like the maps and the settings for your phone, and an internet browser that you can access on your phone, all that kind of stuff. It'll be of course added later on. I also went ahead and added a home button and a back button at the bottom, and yeah, I think it's all looking pretty clean so far. Now initially this is where I was gonna end the episode, but I decided to actually add a menu as well as a leaderboard because I decided those are gonna be pretty prominent later on for when I add more stuff. And also I just wanted to add the leaderboard just to get it out of the way. I still need to do a couple more things for the leaderboard, but well, you'll see. The menu's nothing special. I just needed to have somewhere that I could store a lot more GUIs that I, again, didn't want to clutter up the screen with. So basically it's just like one menu screen with a bunch of tabs on the side to go to different stuff. And of course I didn't actually design all those tabs just yet. I just kind of made it functional for when I do need to add them. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty short section because there's not much to talk about here. I just made the tabs and started working on adding some images to the bottom so that you could see whenever I'd change tabs for when I started making that functional. I know it looks kind of god-awful here, but just trust the process. Anyways, I went ahead and scripted it, and this is how it looks. Next up, I started working on my own custom leaderboard since I disabled Roblox's default one, so yeah. I first put it in the middle of the top of your screen, but then I decided once I added all the icons that would go next to people's names, it would look very off-center, so I decided to not put it there. So yeah, I moved it over to the top right and I added icons next to the name, the first of which being the player's level, which is the one with the star icon. Then I added other icons that'll show, according to what the player has or is. If the player has premium or if the player has the VIP or, premium game pass that I'll be making in the future, and a crown for the owner, which is me, so get on. Of course, next I started scripting it so that it'd work, and surprisingly this is pretty easy to make, so if you're just getting into scripting, then make a leaderboard. It's fun. I think. Anyways, this is how it looked when it was done, and I'm quite proud of it. I'd show you it with more people in-game, of course, but it's my game and nobody else can play it. So, also I forgot to put it in earlier in the video, but I also made a little animation that, you know, shows your character taking out your phone whenever you open the GUI, which I thought was pretty nice. That's basically everything done though, so let me go ahead and show you how it all looks. So anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the new GUIs, and also let me know of anything you'd like to see added to the game. I'd really appreciate your feedback, and it's been nice to go on this journey with you all. I've been getting a lot of love for it on TikTok, so I'm really happy about that, and I hope that once the game releases, a lot of people are gonna be able to enjoy it and stuff. I promise that once it gets to a more finished state, I'll, you know, have some playtesting and stuff so that people can kind of test it out. But yeah, for now, of course, it's very far from a finished state, so it'll be a while till we get to that point. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. If you didn't like the video, I don't care. Do the same things I just said to do, and yeah, see you guys soon.